As you can see, we have our first race here for historic touring cars over 2 litre, massive field. So let's run through them here. At the moment, obviously, with Jamie Tilley on pole position in the fastback Mustang, leading them out. And once again, I'm going to be joined alongside of me will be Darren Knight once again as we bring this big field. This is certainly the highlight of the meeting here at the moment. So as I mentioned, Jamie Tilley on pole position, Aldo DePoli in the Camaro in second position, Ian Hewitt in the Mustang. Then we go back to Adam Smith, the South Australian, in the XW Falcon, Andrew Beard in the 86 car in the Camaro, Jason Humble in the rotary Mazda there. And then we go back to Graham Wakefield in position 7, the car 88 in the Mustang. Then Ben Wilkinson, another one of the Mustangs there, rounding out the top 8.
Adrian Moyle, the Victorian, or now based in Queensland, the Camaro alongside Brad Tilley in the Mustang, Chris Stern in the Mustang number 90. He'll start alongside the first of the Chargers, Michael Hibbert in 71. Pete Muhlman, the black Mustang 43, alongside Nathan Gordon, the HQ Monaro number 45. Glenn Miles in the second of the Chargers, number 16, alongside Gary Finnemore in the Mustang number 19.
Then we get to the next part of the grid. Got a few to get through here. We've got Rob James in the 111 car. Then we go back to Keith Davison, Evan Goebel out there in the XU1 Tirana, Andrew Gervin in the same make. Then we go back to Leo Tobin, Rob Smith, another South Australian there in the Tirana. Then we go back to Ray Hepburn and Bill Trengrove back there in the 64 car.
That's an NB Mustang, so a pre-65 Mustang for Trengrove in the red machine number 64. Brett Hodgkin rounding out the field in the number 4 XY Falcon GTHO. What a lap we saw from our pole sitter Jamie Tilley yesterday. A top 10 shootout for historic touring cars this weekend. Absolutely nailed that lap. Hit every apex perfectly. Never put a wheel out of place. A very quick time of a 2:07, which we're still doing some research on, which we think may be the quickest ever lap by an historic touring car around Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. We've got to do some more research on that, but it will be very close to a time Paul Stubber set in his Camaro here a couple of years ago.
Paul, of course, was a part of this program here last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, a few family commitments back home in WA, so had to pull out of the meeting at the last minute. Keep an eye on that white Mustang with the blue stripes, number 28. Brad Tilley unfortunately had a gearbox issue right at the start of his top 10 shootout lap yesterday. So, of course, it means he finishes or he starts the race in 10th. But he was certainly very quick in qualifying prior to the top 10 shootout, was third quickest, in fact. So keep an eye on that white Mustang at number 28 coming through the field.
Big field of cars making their way around here. Been well supported here this weekend. We did all the shootout stuff yesterday. And unfortunately for these guys, this was a part of the later part of the afternoon program yesterday, and unfortunately due to weather conditions that was postponed, so we'll give them an early Sunday morning start instead.
They'll be chomping at the bit. The first race this weekend for the over 2 litre historic touring cars, groups NB and NC. So groups NB are for the types of cars that race in Australia prior to the end of 1964. Group NC for the cars that raced on Australian circuits exclusively. Problems for Andrew Beard from Victoria in the ex-Graham Jarrett Chev Camaro coming into the pits. That's disappointing for Andrew. He ended up 5th fastest in the top 10 yesterday, so that's very disappointing. A very quick driver and car. Hopefully he'll get it back out there for the second race. 4 races for these guys today, so they're going to be very busy in between their time on the track.
So right down towards turn 18 as they come around. Good to see a couple of Chargers in the field there. Michael Hibbert there, he's been here before, so he knows the track pretty well. Very retro style, isn't that? Lovely 1970s purple there.
Magenta, I think it's the factory call. Some people call it dark pink, but magenta sounds tougher. So Michael refers to it as magenta.
Just waiting for that green flag, and there it is. So who gets the run down to turn 1? Obviously Jamie Tilley on the inside and Aldo DePoli on the outside, the West Aussie.
Mustang versus Camaro, just like we're seeing on the Gold Coast, and they're away in race 1 for the over 2 litre historic touring cars. What a start from Jason Humble in the Mazda RX-2. Leo Tobin out into the grass a little bit there, just going around the car there off the line into turn 1 for the first time. Keep an eye on Ben Wilkinson too in the silver Mustang. Humble very fast away. but Tilly will lead to Powley. So Mustang versus Camaro. Ian Hewitt into third. Adam Smith, a great start. The White Falcon up into fourth.
Yeah, good start. Certainly Jason Humble stood out there trying to split the pack there and actually gets himself up into fourth position at this early stage. Look at all the brake lockups down there at turn 3. It's pretty busy trying to sort out their track positions. So now they open them up and head down to sweeper here.
Brad
turn
Tilley.
5.
Brad Tilley on the move. Mark Ory up into fourth place. We knew this would happen in the number 28 Mustang, just getting through on Jason Humble in the sole rotary in the field, who is in turn leading the White Falcon of Adam Smith. Chris Stern has had a good start as well. On cue here, Ben Wilkinson just rounding up Chris Stern there, the 268 Ford Mustang. So Ben Wilkinson, the Sydney sider, started out in an EH Holden many years ago, moved up to a Mustang, and is right up there on the tail of the Falcon of Adam Smith.
So the 88 car just makes its way through there, which is
Graham Wakefield.
Graham Wakefield, of course it is. I should have been able to pick that one out. And he's got the 90 car just in front of him there of Chris Stern. So they're a little bit further back in positions, about mid-pack at the moment. So a few good old-style Mustangs amongst that group.
Adrian Moyle in the black and silver Chev Camaro on screen now, the number 25 machine. Went the wrong way, unfortunately. The top 10 shootout with setup was 5th fastest in qualifying, but did some change to the car after qualifying, and he had a very eventful top 10 lap. Now trying to gain some track position after issues during that shootout. He's right on the tail of Wakefield as Adam Smith coming under pressure now from Ben Wilkinson in the Mustang. So the 3 Mustangs, the 368 model Mustangs are Stern there, Wilkinson, Stern, Wakefield, all running the 302 Windsor.
So Wilkinson looking for a pass too. There in the
DePaoli into the lead, no, putting the
quite.
moves on Brad Tilley, Jamie Tilley rather, at turn 1. They got very close, just backed out of it in the last minute. So it's still Jamie Tilley leading from Aldo DePaoli in the number 96, 1969 model Chevy Camaro.
They were the ones that were dominant yesterday, certainly as far as qualifying and top 10 shootout was concerned. And you can see that starting to show on track. But just getting that nice little break between them and Adam Smith just behind them. So DePaoli there, the Western Australian on the attack there, and behind the very experienced Jamie Tilley there, as they do the climb up towards turn 7, and then they'll drop off down towards turn 8. It's quite a big hill down there, down that part of the track. Doesn't look too much of it on the TV coverage, but certainly if you stand on that hill and look down, it is a long way down there, believe it or not. Not a lot of passing happens down there. The track does really tighten right up through that section.
Brad Tilley in 3rd place on screen now, the number 28 Ford Mustang. That's an original generation shape Mustang, the 64 shape. So that means it is running the little 289 Windsor under the bonnet. Jamie Tilley, the 69 fastback, running a 351 Windsor versus the 350 Chev of Aldo DePaoli.
Tilley certainly the hard charger at the moment. Oh, gee, Jason Humble was a little bit crossed up there in that turn.
Well, I hope he didn't spin. We saw, heard some squealing in our earphones there. He was very sideways out of the corner there. Jason Humble was very...
Hibbert was too, isn't he? Crossed up as well. There in the magenta.
Ian Hewitt. So that squealing we heard was the number 55 Mustang of Ian Hewitt. He was running right up there in 5th place. Has lost a few positions there, now battling the charger of Michael Hibbert.
There was another one that got a little bit. Oh, they got someone in the boys. That's the Gordon.
Nathan Gordon in the HQ Monaro is stationary, unfortunately.
That looks like the fence down behind turn 13 as well. So it's all happening down there at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, that's with that section. There's a few interesting moments for a few race cars going through that section. And they come down to put another lap down towards turn 18. They come. So Michael Hibbert has got Wilkes. So we've got to have a look, what are we looking at? So the 55 car there at Buick gets up on the inside there of the 90 car there of Chris Stern, and Michael Hibbert also into that group as well. So that's 10th, 11th and 12th position. So those cars just outside the top 10 And everyone's trying to get inside the top 10 in that particular group.
Pete Muleman, that all-black Mustang, trying to hold out Ian Mewett in the number 55 machine. Stern now on the number 90 Mustang, trying to fend off Michael Hibbett in the number 71 Charger. Real big battle there up ahead of them between Pete Muleman, a three-time club champion in Victoria, in that all-black Mustang number 43, running in 9th place at the moment in front of this battle of Stern and Hibbett.
That Pete Muleman car is a real angry-looking Mustang, isn't it? The all black, there it is. The all-black car there. But Ian Mewett's got other ideas here at the moment by the looks of things. And gets himself around the outside of that corner. It's not really where you want to be. It's probably a little bit wide down there. And do the climb up towards turn 13. This is where it all tightens up. He gets himself on the inside.
351 Windsor versus 289 Windsor. Ian Mewett there putting the move on Muleman and trying to regain some of that position after running off the circuit earlier. So Mewett now back up inside the top 10, just about.
I think he's in 11th position at the moment.
So
there's Michael Hibbett there trying to outworry Stern there as well. So the Charger there looking for the pass down on the inside of Chris Stern, and does it. Might get past Pete Muleman as well. Well, not quite, had to back out there as that corner tightens up quite considerably in turn 17.
Nice move from Michael Hibbett in the Charger, down the hill underneath Chris Stern in the Mustang.
A little bit wide there for Stern too at the curbing there at turn 18. Chance to see good there as well. So Pete Muleman now getting a nice little break for that position. And there he is, the all black. Not a bit of colour on that car at all, just solid black.
Black car, black heart is how Pete describes himself. Keith Davidson, the valiant pacer, having a good battle with the local Evan Goebel in that beautifully presented number 7 XU1. Keith Davidson gets the move on Goebel.
Love the valiant pacer. How retro does that look? That is a cool race car.
That colour could only come from one decade, Mark.
No, that's right, that's the 70s.
Keith Davidson, a renowned engine builder. In fact, of course, builds the engine in the Michael Hibbett Charger, as several others in the historic touring car category, as well as being a pretty handy steerer himself. The pacer, the little not little, but the 245 cubic inch Hemi under the bonnet. Of course, the Chargers moved up to the 265 after the pacer.
This is lap 4 of 6. Just some short races today, obviously. Got to try and fit all these races in. 46 car.
Leo Tobin.
Leo Tobin. Well, that's a guy that's been around in car racing for some time.
Yeah, been pretty busy with the Touring Car Masters Mustang as well. A different car to this, of course. He's stepping back into Group N. He's just in front of that pacer of Keith Davidson, who's trying very hard there, we see. In the number 27 machine, as is Hibbett now. Trying to put the move on Pete Muleman.
Certainly close enough. That's turn 13. You need to be on the other side there, on the inside to 14 there to get a pass down. I think he decides just to follow him through. There is a passing opportunity there if you are close enough and have got the car in the right position. A lot of people there not quite close enough behind Pete Muleman.
The Charger, of course, South Australia's own, built right here in Tonsley Park all those years ago, and at one time the fastest accelerating production car in the world, a 14-second quarter mile out of the factory in that ultimate E49 spec. Yeah, right here in South Australia, Tonsley Park, that no longer exists, obviously. Doesn't matter about that, he's now going to tuck him behind. Pete Muleman there trying to get another position. Might get a pass down at turn 1. See how close he is at the moment. This is for 9th and 10th position on track. And they scream over the little hump there, and that's been virtually with the braking marker down there at turn 1. Hibbett right on his tail once again, so not quite close enough. As they head down towards the combination of turns 1, 2 and 3. Jamie Tilley continues to lead from Aldo De Paoli, so our fastest lap so far for Jamie Tilley, a 209.3 versus the fastest lap of De Paoli at 210.6. So the Mustang has the wood on the Camaro at the moment, but does the Mustang have the wood on the Charger at the moment? Michael Hibbett trying very hard to get past Muleman in that battle for a 9th place.
Bit better under brakes there too, Muleman. A little bit of a lighter car as well, so he gets through turn 6 quite easily. Gets a little bit of a break under brakes there down in the entry there to 6.
Quite a big car, the Charger. It doesn't look it in wheelbase, but as far as width goes, it's probably the widest car in the field. So quite a hefty machine to hustle around here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. He's certainly making Pete Muehlmann earn that 9th place.
Just chasing him around at the moment. Gets nice and close under brakes there. Oh,
Graham
Wakefield. So that's oh, he's in the middle of the track as well. That's right down the back of the circuit. I think that's turn 10. So he's got it all crossed up and got the Mustang faking in the wrong direction. So I don't know whether that car is still running or sitting on. We'll find out in a moment.
Good driving from Muehlmann and Hibbert. They went either side of the stricken Graham Wakefield Mustang as we're on the last lap here for the first race for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars. Still watching this great battle for 9th place between Muehlmann and Hibbert.
Now this might be Hibbert's chance. He's left, turn right. Needs to be on the inside down there. Unfortunately, not quite close enough. Just follows him through. Both take pretty much the same line down through turn 17 for the battle just inside the top 10, their 9th and 10th position. Oh, a bit of drift style down there from Old Hibbert. Got a little bit crossed up there in the final turn. And now they venture out onto their final lap. That battle for 9th and 10th. Jamie Tilley with that nice little break at the moment is our lead car. In a straight line, that Pete Muehlmann car certainly nice and strong. So Michael Hibbert there just gets up on the curve there, turn a little bit there at turn 1. There's our race leader there, Jamie Tilley in the Mustang. And looking very strong at the moment. Nice little break. In fact, nearly 5.5 seconds between him and the Western Australian there and Aldo De Poli.
Certainly got that car dialed in. It looks superb through the corners there, hitting the apexes, sitting nice and flat. We saw that fantastic lap from Jamie yesterday, and he's really strutted the field here. So De Poli 5 seconds back in 2nd place. Nevertheless, a strong run for the West Australian. Another few seconds behind De Poli is Brad Tilley, Jamie's father, in the Mustang. He'll be starting out at grid 3 for the next race, so be closer to the front right from the get-go. Won't have to battle those cars as he has in this race starting from 10th.
Yeah, great job to get from 10th up to 3rd position. Jason Hummel back there in 4th position. He got a good start as well, but he's got himself settled in that position pretty much throughout the race. And this is now for the checkered flag. Just one more corner to go through, so race 1 will go here to Jamie Tilley in car number 9.
He's looked after the tyres very well. They don't last a long time on these big cars, Mark, so victory to Jamie Tilley. 2nd place will be Aldo De Poli. And he's put, speaking of tyres, you really do have to manage these things as Brad Tilley crosses the line in 3rd place. So there are tyre restrictions. You can't just keep throwing new rubber at it every race. You're restricted to 6 tyres overall. Keith Davidson, the pacer, having a battle here with Andrew Girvin. So Evan Gobel's got past Keith Davidson in that battle of the Aussie Sixes. So Andrew Girvin, the green Tirana there, trying to track down that pacer of Keith Davidson. Good drive there from Gobel. He's coming under attack though, right at the end here with Davidson right on his tail.
That's for 16th position there at the moment. Evan Gobel, look at the big pacer right behind him, trying to worry him down the penultimate corner there. And he won't be able to get that move done either. So Evan Gobel.
Onto the straight for the last time. Can Davidson slingshot past the Tirana? Gets a little bit sideways, that's compromised his exit, so right at the line here. Can the Hemi do it?
I think he didn't, not quite. So Gobel hangs on in front of Davison there for 16th or 17th position on track. Great little battle there a little bit further back. And, that's the Wakefield entry. That's the one that spun a little earlier on. So good to see that car refired and making his way back. The car we're looking at there is the shell-coloured car. That's Robert Smith, local South Australian Tirana driver there.
Who has done a fantastic job along with Chris Dern, who's come across from Victoria. So Robert Smith, a great effort in organising the historic touring cars. It's a bit like herding cats, historic touring car guys. So they've done an excellent job of getting them all together and putting this field together. So, and Rob also having a run, of course, in that beautiful shell-liveried Tirana XU1 number 155. That's a bit of a replica of the Dick Johnson XU1 that Dickie used to race before he became a Ford Colt hero.
Good to see Gordon back there too. That was a car that spun it a bit earlier as well. So good to see that car get back under his own steam. So a few recoveries there towards the end to get across the line.
We will see those cars back out a bit later. Here we go, the top 10 mark.
So it'll be Jamie Tilley, Aldo DePoli, Brad Tilley, Jason Humble, Adam Smith, Ben Wilkinson, Ian Muir, Pete Mullen, Michael Hibbert and Chris Stern back there in the Mustang, rounding out the top 10. And a little bit further back, we'll have Glenn Miles, Rob James, Gary Finnemore, Ray Hepburn, Leo Tobin, Ev Goebel, Keith Davison, who had that battle just towards the end, Andrew Gervin, and 21st position. Well, that didn't happen because did you see Brett Hodgkin out there? I'm not too sure. He must have finished. Okay, and then we go back to Graham Wakefield, who had a spin, and Nathan Gordon had a spin in that race as well.
Adrian Moyle, unfortunately, hasn't finished that race, so that's disappointing for the man that was 5th quickest in qualifying yesterday. Hopefully, the guys will be able to turn around the cars quickly. There's not much time here with this packed program. Those cars you just saw raced will be back out at 11:35 this morning for their second race.
My name's Adam Smith and I'm here driving the number 69 XW Falcon. I've owned it for probably 7 years now. It was originally built by a local Trevor Jew back in 2004, I believe, and he raced it up until 2016. And yeah, I bought the car from there and developed it from there. So it's an old original Group N car. Like it's not a full rotisserie built race car. It was originally a road car in the ACT, and yeah, Trevor brought it over from there, and he put the roll cage in it, and yeah, started racing it. But like I said, there's been quite a lot of development gone into the car since Trev had it, and yeah, it's as soon as we go, everything's going in the right direction.
Some action back on track. It is now the next race, or race 2, for the over 2 litre historic touring cars, as we saw the dominant performance by Jamie Tilley in the Mustang in the previous race, and that's the car that is once again leading them out. But there's certainly a few a little bit further back that have certainly progressed through the field there. So quite an interesting race coming up here. Big, large field. Going to be plenty of action here on Blendline TV in just a few moments. And back to sitting alongside of me once again will be Darren Knight, and to tell us all what's been happening between races. No doubt there's been a few mechanical problems down there in between those events.
Microphone works better when you turn it on. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
Welcome to everyone watching us on Blendline TV. Good morning to everyone here at a very breezy Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. Jamie Tilley will start out a pole alongside Aldo DePaoli in the Camaro, Brad Tilley in the Mustang, Jason Humble in the RX2. Adam Smith will start on the 3rd row of the grid, the local in the Falcon, and number 69 alongside Ben Wilkinson in the silver Mustang number 189. Ian Muir in the number 55 Mustang from Queensland will start out of grid 7. And Pete Mullen from Victoria in that all-black machine number 43, the Mustang, you'll start out of grid 8.
Let's go back to Michael Hibbert in the Charger, then it'll be Chris Stern in the Mustang, Glenn Miles, Rob James, Gary Finnemore, Ray Hepburn, Leo Tobin back there, and Ev Goebel back there in the Tirana. To Keith Davison in the Pacer, then Andrew Gervin in the Tirana, Rob Smith in the Tirana, Bill Trengrove, Brett Hodgkins back out there again in the Falcon, and Nathan Gordon in the Monaro, Graham Wakefield a lot further back after his spin earlier on, and Andrew Moyle at the back of the field there in the Chev Camaro.
Unfortunately, we'll be missing Adrian Moyle. Actually snapped a camshaft under the bonnet of his number 25 68 model Chev Camaro. So Moyle, unfortunately, a non-starter. Andrew Beard will be one man to watch right at the back of the grid in the silver and black 69 model Chev Camaro. Number 86 had some suspension issues this morning, so did not take the start, came into the pit lane, bit of a vibration, but they're hoping they've sorted that out. So keep an eye on Beard as he plows through the field. A very quick motor car and a very quick driver. Ian Muir, he'll be looking forward to getting a few places further up after he was running very strong in the top 5 in this morning's race, as we saw Mark, but unfortunately ran a little bit wide, which is very easy to do here at the bend. Dropped a couple of places, but he'll be coming through the field there in the number 55 Mustang.
Certainly will be, bringing these cars around. Like I said, a few at the back of the pack. The Andrew Beard's certainly one to look out for. He'll be picking a few early ones there. The 111 Capri in the field. We haven't mentioned that too much here, this field of Rob James.
All the way from Queensland. Just shows you the pull of this place, Mark. All the way from Queensland in that beautiful gold-coloured 3-litre V6 Ford Capri. The only Capri in the field. There is on screen right now in front of the Mustang of Gary Finnemore. Keep an eye also on that big blue HQ Monaro on screen now. The number 46 machine of Nathan Gordon. Unfortunately, throttle cable detached itself this morning, so he'll be starting right down the back. So keep an eye on Gordo. Rob Smith, that beautiful number 125 yellow XU1, the local, real prime mover in the category over here, and an organiser as well as a driver. So well done, Rob, and everyone here at the Historic Touring Car Association of South Australia.
Yeah, the biggest field we've ever seen here for this event. In fact, anywhere in Australia, that matter of fact. So cars, they're making their way up towards the grid. Good old-fashioned historic touring car racing, just like they were back in the day. We were talking about that earlier in the under 2 litres about obviously the way they are shown. They don't have all the advertising over or stickers or anything. I think is exactly how they would have been back in the day.
Yeah, Category 5, so they are a historic class, so no advertising allowed on Category 5 historic vehicles in Australia. Just the name basically, and your state. What a front row that is. Jamie Tilley on the left of screen, and that black Mustang number 9 alongside Aldo De Poli in that beautiful 69 model Chevy Camaro alongside green flag at the back. Here we go, folks. Race 2 for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars. Mustang versus Camaro once again. Keep an eye also on Jason Humble in the RX2 right behind De Poli on the second row of the grid. Another great start from Humble, usually very quick off the line. Brad Tilley also quick away in that Mustang on the left of screen, white with the blue stripes, number 28. And he'll be looking to try and get up alongside Dad Paoli into turn 1 for the first time.
Oh, it's too tight. You can't go 3 abreast down there. And there's been a bit of contact. You see the damage on the front of the 28 Mustang there. So there's been a little bit of touch and go there.
Yeah, so that's allowed De Paoli, who copped a little bit of a tap there from Brad Tilley. He's gone through into the lead. So Aldo De Paoli leading for the first time this weekend, gets in front of Jamie Tilley. Then it's Brad Tilley, Ben Wilkinson, Jason Humble, Ian Mewett, Adam Smith in the Falcon. Chris Stern has also had a pretty handy opening lap as well in the number 90 Mustang. He's Leo Tobin coming under attack from Rob James in the Capri with Nathan Gordon in the blue HQ Monaro, number 45, right behind Tobin.
Another one just behind them too that's made up a fair bit of ground earlier is the Andrew Beard entry. If you were to pick that one out, started from the rear of the field, and there is that HQ Monaro there of Nathan Gordon. Also with the same freight coming from the rear of the field. And he's got Leo Tobin in front of him. Leo Tobin in front of him at the moment.
Ray Wakefield, the number 88 Mustang, had a spin, as you mentioned, Mark, in the race this morning and then ran out of fuel, unfortunately. So quite thirsty around this 4.95 kilometre circuit, the Ford Mustang. So a lot of the guys have been having to top up the fuel tank in this short break between races. We'll give this battle now on screen. Father versus son. Not the Skywalkers or Vaders, it's the Tilleys. Jamie Tilley, the number 9 fastback Mustang in front of Dad Brad. He's showing that little bit of panel damage from the first touch, that inadvertent touch, it must be said too, at turn 1, which is not hard to do. That big run down the front straight.
So our current race leader is Aldo De Poli, the Western Australian, so he's taken full total advantage of that 3-way skirmish for the first time and got himself through. So Jamie Tilley second, Brad Tilley third, as we just mentioned. And those three are already starting to dominate. So where's all the hard charges behind them? The next one through is Ben Wilkinson, but he's under attack as well.
And you're right behind him, Wilkinson.
Just looking for a pass there on the inside, wasn't quite close enough. And Jason Humble breathing all down the back of Buick's neck too. So they disappear from our view.
Good battle on the charge. I think Glenn Miles has got in front of Michael Hibbert for the first time this weekend. So that traditional mustard-coloured Charger of Miles having a very good opening lap.
There's a Gordon there, the blue HQ Monaro number 45. So he's another one charging through the field. He's got himself in front of the Rob James entry there, but James has got a bit of his own work to do, because have a look who he's got behind him is Andrew Beard. So he's the one that's also trying to pick his way through the field, and he gets up on the inside down to the braking marker there at turn 6.
Off the back of the grid, Andrew Beard, as we suspected, slicing through the field at the moment on the verge of the top 10 as he rounds up that V6 Capri of Rob James.
Done it easily and got away from him very quickly, so that car's got plenty of pace, but he's also still got a lot of cars in front of him. And there's the other Monaro we were talking about, trying to do a bit of the same, trying to work his way through the field. But Beard has certainly got better pace at the moment. We've got the Guver and Tirana in the pits too, unfortunately. That's a beautiful race car. So having a look at that a little bit earlier on, it's got a pretty deep history too. Second generation racer at the wheel there.
Ray Hepburn in the fastback Mustang number 59. The West Australian has his hands full with the Queenslander of Graham Wakefield in the earlier model Mustang number 88, who in turn has Nathan Gordon right on his tail. And then that man, we've been talking about him all race, Andrew Beard in the silver Camaro number 86 right on Gordon's tail.
He certainly is. You're probably looking to be picking him off here down through this section. Pete McMillan's got some company too. So it's the 59 car there of Ray Hepburn. So the Hepburn car certainly up a bit further in the field too at these earlier stages. So fastback versus earlier model or Mustang. Yeah, but geez.
Wakefield very sideways coming onto the front straight, as was Gordon, and that's allowed Andrew Beard to range up alongside the HQ Monaro. So Beard now.
I wonder if Wakefield's got an issue there. Just seen us back off quite considerably there for some reason. He's obviously got two hard charging cars alongside of him at the moment. Beard on trying to get up on the inside. Didn't quite get that move done. So and certainly Nathan Gordon certainly sticking to his guns too down through that section of the track. And gets on the brakes nice and late there as well, trying to get right up behind Andrew Beard. And those cars are currently in position 13th and 14th on track. Remember, both those cars did start from the rear of the field. So they've picked it up half the field already, so they're doing a terrific job. There's our current race leader there, Anto Paoli from the Western Australian, actually a South Australian built race cars we were talking about yesterday. Ex-Roger Oliver car.
South Australian run, but WA built.
Yes.
That car, in fact, was built by Paul Stubber's crew, Matt and Pat, to the same standards of that rapidly quick Camaro of Paul Stubber. And then Roger purchased the car and ran it for several years, hung up the helmet now, and now Aldo certainly showing all that hard work, the engineering that went into that car, superbly put together machine, and he's doing very well out in front at the moment, in front of Jamie and Brad Tilley.
He certainly is. So not too much other change. Oh, this is the battle of the
Chargers.
Hey Charger.
Michael Hibbert gave me the Hey Charger V sign. I'm hoping it was the hands around the right way, not the other way, that people usually give me, and he's right on the tail there of Glenn Miles in another Charger. The Victorians going at it. 265 Hennies. Fantastic machine. Nothing between them at the moment.
I just love the retro colours of the Chargers of the era. They are two very typical colours of the era, aren't they? That sort of orange and certainly the magenta purple there behind him. Terrific, of course, South Australian built right here in Adelaide. So that's the battle at the moment, and they're currently in 8th and 9th position on track, and in fact that might be about to change with Michael Hibbert trying to get up back on the inside out of the draft there on the braking marker down to turn 1. And will he get that pass done? Gets the nose in front. No, wasn't quite close enough. So Miles retains that position into 8th position for the battle of the Chargers.
Starting to close up at the front now. Jamie Tilley's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 2:09.03. Our race leader, Aldo De Paoli, a 209.3, so nothing between them, as is this battle is between the Chargers of Miles and Hibbett. That's the battle for 8th place.
And that's what we're looking at in the moment. Oh, that's the...
Chris Stern in the Mustang, taking a trip through the kitty litter. Probably the shiniest car in the field, or it was before it got...
not there.
In the sand.
Not sure what corner that was. But he's managed to get himself out of the gravel there, which is good news. And here come the Chargers there, just heading down towards turn, well, they've gone past turn 13. And we can see Pete Moulin has got Graham Wakefield behind him for a challenge too. And Nathan Gordon on the inside of Ray Hepburn. He gets that pass done and clean as a whistle as well. And Rob James wants a piece of that as well on the inside to get up inside of Ray Hepburn in that move.
Hepburn looks like he might be suffering a little bit of tyre wear there to the car, not turning in as well. As we mentioned, these are limited to tyres for each meeting. You're only allowed 8 tyres in total, so 4 new tyres, 4 used tyres, and they're all marked to keep track of them, so you can't throw tyres at them every time they hit the track, which used to happen several years ago.
It's Pete Moulin who's just in 10th position, so that's the battle for the top 10. And that might be about to change in Andrew Beard, and just got Graham Wakefield just in front of him. So they're the 11th, so the 11th and 12th cars in the field. But this is the battle as we get down towards the last stages of this race. And Wakefield on the inside there of Pete Moulin. This might be another 3 abreast go here. Here we go. So absolutely flat stick down the big long main straight here at Shell V Power Motorsport Park.
Very shallow line for Beard coming up. He tries to get in 2 guys at once.
Oh,
Wakefield on the inside, Moulin on the outside. He's having to really jump on the anchors there, break lock up for Wakefield. Beard gets it done. Well, he wasn't asking for a second invitation, was he there, Mark?
No, very brave move there.
And that's also allowed Moulin to go up the inside of Graham Wakefield, so he'll be annoyed with himself there. With that little brake lock-up, it's cost him 2 positions.
Yeah, he just got a little bit late on the brake pedal there, so that's just thrown him out the other side. So there goes Pete Moulin now, the all-black number 43 Mustang. And now here's the battle of the Mustangs at the moment with Graham Wakefield just behind him. And there's Nathan Gordon. So where's he come from? He's come from out the pack as well, trying to chase down a few cars in the light blue HQ Monaro in that field. So Gordon's got himself up into, well, it should be about 13th position at the moment. So Pioli, that lead has also shrunk, as you mentioned there, Darren. So we'll certainly be keeping a close eye on. There's our race leader. So where is the... Let's have a look. We've got a replay coming up here too. Let's have a look what's happening. There's Pioli, the lead gets really heavy on the brake pedal there. And they both do a bit of the same. In fact, Tilly gets out wide there.
So I was wondering why Jamie backed off a little bit there, and now we know why. He was pushing very, very hard and just went a little bit deep there. And that's allowed Aldo to scoot away a little bit on his last lap in race 2 of the Construct Hire over 2-litre historic touring cars.
And that's Graham Wakefield again. This looks like another DNF coming up. Unfortunately, his weekend hasn't been exactly how he would like it. And that car, the Mustang now, all parked up. Who is it? Comes to a stand. Don't know whether the engine's cut out or he's refired or what's happened there. That's a bit of a odd manoeuvre. Let's have a look here. This will explain. Oh, there we go. He got touched. I think there was a bit of contact there.
Or did he get a wheel up over the ripple strip there and perhaps it's turned him around? We're not sure.
Just caught the end of it there. We didn't get the start of it. So this is for the checker flag. They are on their final lap. So DiPioli, the Western Australian, looking to take a race victory here in race 2. And as they make their way down inside the stadium section there at turn 14. In fact, they're right down the back part of the circuit there. That's turn 11. Now they'll head back towards turn 12 and 13. Oh, the smoke in the background was a bit of a throw, wasn't it?
I was drifting.
There's a bit of drifting going in the background.
Somebody
there
was blowing up, so I'm glad it wasn't. It was just the drift boys and girls doing what they do best as Jamie heads towards the checkered flag, second place in that Mustang.
So DiPioli to bring him home. in the number 96 Camaro. Down to the penultimate race corner here, which is down to 17.
Very windy conditions here. You'll see the cameramen desperately trying to do their work, keeping the camera steady. So very strong breeze, cooling the track a little bit. That hasn't worried Aldo or Jamie.
They've dominated, haven't they? They've really got away from the rest of the field. Brad Tilley back in third position, but he's a lot further back. And so Aldo Depoli will take the checkered flag there and take that race 2 victory here in over 2 litre historic touring cars, just to say, or Group N touring cars.
Jamie Tilley second place in the Mustang. Dad Brad is heading towards the line now. Who gets hurt? This battle's going right to the flag though, between Rob James in the Capri from Queensland and Ray Hepburn in the Mustang from WA. They're trying to latch onto the back of Pete Muleman, but he looks like he is safe in the first of the pre-65 Group NB historic touring cars Muleman, so almost into the top 10. Pretty good job with the earlier spec Mustang with Hepburn behind him.
And they're still going there hard, aren't they, at the moment? So that's positions, where are we, 13. I think we're back there at the moment. Well, Muleman's certainly in 11th. So 11th, 12th and 13th. Doesn't matter, go across the line at the moment. So those cars figures through. Beard in 9th position.
Pretty good effort off the back of the grid, Mark.
It's good effort. And then back to Miles and the Charger in 10th position. Just in front of Pete Muleman, Ray Hepburn and Rob James. That's the cars we were just having a look at in our broadcast. And we go back to Keith Davison in the Pacer. And the Finnemore car in position 16. It looks like Wakefield's got that car refied, so that's good news. So after his little excursion down there at turn 14, whether he was helped or not, we're not too sure. Might be just really right over the curb, but Leo Tobin also came in early, turned early retirement there, unfortunately.
Evan Goebel, that beautiful XU1, the local, the number 7 machine, crosses the line. So a couple of finishes, strong finishes there for Evan Goebel. Bill Trengrove, the second of the pre-65 Mustangs, crosses the line, as does Rob James. Rob Smith, I beg your pardon.
Rob Smith, yeah, that's right. So Rob, as we mentioned, they're doing a bit of hard work and getting this meeting organised, and that's the Hodgkin car, or the Hot Chicken as he's known down in the paddock area.
That's his brother Rod. There's 2 Hodgkins here,
yeah.
So they're chicken and chips. That's Brett crossing the line in his XW Falcon number 4.
Okay, so I think here is the final car, and where is Nathan Gordon? That's the question. He was in the middle of the pack, so not too sure where he's ended up. So let's have a look at the final results there. So Aldo Topoli takes the victory from Jamie Tilley. Then we go back to Brad Tilley, Ian Mewett, Ben Wilkerson, Jason Humble back to 6th position there. Then Adam Smith, Michael Hibbert, and Andrew Beard. Then the other charger there of Glenn Miles. He rounds out the top 10 there.
So Hibbert had the last laugh in the Battle of the Chargers right towards the end of the race. Glenn Miles was leading that battle for quite some time though, but Hibby in the Magenta machine ended up 8th in front of our rear of grid starter, Andrew Beard, ended up 9th, right off the back of the grid. Great drive from Andrew.
And that rounds out our top 10. Here's the rest of them. Here we go. Pete Muleman just out on the top 10 and 11th. Then Ray Hepburn, Rob James. Those 3 competitors had a pretty good battle there towards the end in front of Keith Davison, Gary Finnemore, Evan Goebel, Graham Wakefield finishes in 17th after all that. Then Chris Stern, Rob Smith and Bill Trengrove in the 64 Mustang back a little bit further there in 20th position.
Brett Hodgkin led home Nathan Gordon. We're not sure what happened to Nathan on that last lap. Unfortunately, Tobin did not take a finish. The boys will be back out there this afternoon.
Okay, over 2 litre historic touring cars are making their way out onto the track. So this is now race 3 for the weekend, over 6 flying laps. So let's see how they line them up here as their cars make their way out. Quite warm conditions out there. Darren Knight at the moment, so the sun is certainly shining, but there's a lot of wind out there.
Yep, you'll be loving it if you had the washing on the line today, because it'll be dry at Taylor Bend in about 5 minutes. Very blowy here, but of course yesterday we had all the racing cancelled at a certain point, so none of the historic touring cars hit the grid for a race yesterday with the storm and the lightning flicking around, but we've had clear skies today, but very breezy though, And some of these cars do feel a bit of the wind as they're going around this 4.95 kilometre track. So coming up, race 3 for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars. And the man that won the race earlier today was Aldo De Paoli in the Chevy Camaro. He held out Jamie Tilley. Very interesting race towards the end though there, Mark, with Jamie Tilley getting right on his tail, made a little bit of a boo-boo, and that allowed Aldo to scoot away for the win.
Good to see Brad Tilley up close as well, so that's going to be an interesting race as long as Near Mewett as well got himself up into 4th position in that previous race. Ben Wilkinson and Jason Humble dropped back a couple of positions. Then we go back to Adam Smith to South Australia, Michael Hibbert in 8th position. Then we go back to Andrew Beard, Glenn Miles, the second of the Chargers there, Pete Mamulin in the all-black Mustang, Ray Hepburn in the fastback Mustang, Rob James in the Capri, Keith Davison in the Valiant Pacer. We go back to Gary Fymore, Evan Goble back there in the first of the XU1 Tiranas.
Graham Wakefield next in the Mustang number 88. Then Chris Stern in the Mustang. Robert Smith in the XU1. That's not Robert Smith, the lead singer of The Cure. That's South Australia's own Robert Smith. And he'll start alongside Bill Trengrove in the red Mustang number 64. Brett Hodgkin in the number 4 Falcon alongside Nathan Gordon. Yet another issue with the throttle on that number 45 Holden Manara. So keep an eye on the big blue machine number 45. Starting out of grid 2, then Leo Tobin and Andrew Gervin on the 12th row of the grid.
And that's it. So that's the full field of 24 cars run through there. So interesting. I'm interested to see how Brad Tilley goes here a little bit closer up.
Brad has a new set of tyres under that number 28 Ford Mustang. Was running on some older ones in the earlier races, so you really have to juggle your tyre usage throughout the weekend. As I mentioned earlier, a maximum of 4 new tyres and 4 used tyres are allowed over the course of the race meeting. So a real juggling act for these guys. Quite long race distance here, 4.95 kilometres for the lap and 6 laps, so it's quite a journey.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is, of course, on we call the international circuit here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, and it is the same course that the supercars run on, which we saw here last month. And cars making their way around to the field. It's been great racing. There's been lots of little battle packs developing throughout the field. The two Tillies now will sit alongside each other on the grid. We don't actually sit alongside of each other on this grid anymore because it is now a staggered grid.
Yeah, quite unique that. We don't see that quite that level of staggering in a lot of grids, but a lot safer, of course.
It's a bit like F1 style, of course. That's exactly how they start off the grid. That round in Mexico is actually happening at this very moment. Anyway, we'll go back to some good old-fashioned tin top racing here in Australia, and this, of course, will be race number 3 for historic touring cars over 2 litre. So all the big boys come out to play. Good to see, as we mentioned before, the 2 groups split into different groups. Haven't seen that previously at the Ben Classic, so it's good seeing them. Certainly with the bigger numbers, it certainly does help.
Green flag for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars. Race 3, the 269 pony cars on the front row of the grid. De Paoli in the Camaro on your left of screen. Look at the start from Jason Humble in the Mazda. Jamie Tilley in the black Mustang on the right of your screen. Ian Mewett was also well away. Brad Tilley in the white Mustang will almost lead into turn 1 for the first time off the second row of the grid. Brad Tilley takes the lead from De Paoli in the Camaro. Then it's Jamie Tilley and Ben Wilkinson in the silver Mustang, number 189. Mark, what a start from Brad Tilley.
Cracking start. Got through beautifully. Jason Humble trying to see Jason Humble again trying to split the pair. He gets up behind. He's been doing that in most of his races. And he goes back to 5th position, but it's still on here. So it's Brad Tilley and Aldo De Paoli are the front 2 at the moment. So it's early model Mustang and Camaro to battle out down to the first time down there to turn 6. And back, so up the climb they go up to turn 7, then they'll go to the drop off over the top of 8. Very difficult any passing opportunities in this section of the track. You really are leaning completely down to the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Doesn't matter because Batoli there just behind Brad Tilley in that camera shot. Obviously, the Carter's got a much more better pace probably than Brad Tilley. But the next trick is he's got to try and get around him. And you can see it's also falling into Jamie's hands as well.
Yeah, a lot larger capacity for the car. Second in the shot here, the number 96 Camaro of De Paoli. 350 Chev versus the 289 Windsor-powered Mustang of Brad Tilley. Jamie Tilley, as Mark mentioned, really starting to come into the picture now. That black 69 Ford Mustang, number 9. So Aldo's in that position where he's trying to attack, but he's also having to defend. But he has the younger Tilley right behind him.
And you can see how that works. You get that little bit of a break from the leader there as well, while De Paoli does put that defensive hat on at the moment. Oh, it gets right up on the inside curb there at 17.2, if you don't mind. He really has clobbered that curb there. Only a little bit of a brake lock as well. So he's feeling the heat there from Jamie Tilley, no doubt.
Sideways for De Paoli, come on to the front straight as he pursues Brad Tilley. So it's Mustang, Camaro, a Mustang. Emu holding down fourth at the moment, although Ben Wilkinson has just rounded him up, in fact, in his silver Mustang. De Paoli round the outside, nips the brake, goes very deep. That might allow Jamie Tilley up into second. De Paoli keeps the boot in. Tilley goes into second place, so Aldo will be very frustrated with that, trying very hard. So we know he's sinking the boot in. But Mark slipping back to third place.
He was out in the grass a bit longer than what he would have liked there. And obviously Jamie Tilley takes the opportunity and gets himself up into second position. So it gives Brad a nice little break there at the moment up the front. And here we go, De Paoli again trying to recorrect himself around a little bit wide there at turn 6.
Good battle here between Chris Stern in the Mustang number 90 in front of Glenn Miles in that mustard-coloured Charger. Miles sticking the nose up inside the Mustang. A very neat pass by Glenn Miles, the Victorian, in the E49 Charger.
Nice pass. There is always a big passing opportunity depending on how you are on the brake pedal down there at 6. But that's a good mark. So he picks up that position for Miles, brings him inside the top 10.
The second of the Chargers, we have Michael Hibbert a little bit further up the road in that magenta-coloured example, number 71. So Hibbert having a strong run in front of, well, just behind Jason Humble, I should say, in that Mazda number 2.
Nathan Gordon too. So he's picked up quite a few positions and gets himself up into 13th position.
There he's on screen right now, starting to attack his good mate Chris Stern. Gordon twice has had issues with the throttle cable with that number 45 Holden Monaro, the HQ with a big 350 Chev under the bonnet, really starting to put the pressure on Chris Stern in the Mustang number 90.
Come around the top there it is.
And through.
And he got him too, so that picks him up to another position and it gets him up into inside the top 10. That should be 9th position. So that's where he is at the moment. Where are we? It hasn't really corrected yet, but that's exactly where he should be.
Jamie Tilley looking for a move on Dad as a head down to turn 1. Aldo Paoli almost making it 3 wide, getting very deep under brakes. Again locks up the brake and runs wide.
Done exactly the same thing as he did on the previous lap.
Well, he's not going home wondering, is he, Aldo?
No,
he's
that's
really,
right.
really having a go. Great to watch.
It's a bit like how late can I go on the brake pedal here? And then probably not quite that late. Now we're going to replay what's happening here. That's the Gordon entry. That's
very nice
pass.
Yeah, very nice pass there from Nathan Gordon.
Certainly used plenty of the track there too, if you don't mind.
Well, it's a HQ, it's pretty wide, so it needs a lot of track to make any sort of manoeuvre. Very neat pass on Chris Stern in the Mustang is Jamie Tilley.
The lead car. See, it's the battle of the Tilleys up the front here. Old man Brad and son Jamie there. And then they are the lead too. Obviously, Jamie with a little bit more season in that car. But the next thing is you've got to get past old man Brad at the moment. We know what fierce competitor he is.
Well, Brad's taught Jamie a lot. I'm just wondering if he's left a little bit in the tank. You'll have to find out for yourself, Junior.
We'll have to find out. So the two Mustangs locked together down the back part of the circuit. And the pass looks like it's about to be done. So a change of the lead, and that's turn 13. So he gets himself in the better track position there, Jamie, on the inside of the next corner. And he'll get himself up to the front there quite comfortably.
Fastest lap, no surprise there for Jamie Tilley on that lap where he took the race lead at 2:10.5. versus a 210.9 for Brad Tilley.
And that's the Hodgkin entry there.
Brett Hodgkin, the number 4 Falcon, in front of Rob Smith in the Tirana number 125, the local. Traditional Falcon versus Tirana battle that we saw into the early 70s in Australian touring car racing.
And they're a little bit further back, in fact, 21st and 22nd position. They're a lot further back in the field there. They've only got a couple of other cars behind them. Here we go again. Here they are at it again.
De Pioli
around the outside.
So wonder what's happened there to Jamie Tilley. He's back to 3rd place now. Nipped a break as well. So just in that split second we were all looking away, our race leader has dropped back to 3rd, Mark.
Yeah, so Brad Tilley back in front. So whether he's made a slight error, we're not too sure. So he's gone from 1st to 3rd position in that short part of the track. And now they head down to the sweeper and head for the braking markers to turn 6. Now this is there is passing opportunities here if you get it right. And around the outside, De Pioli, that's probably not where you want to be. And that's good defensive driving actually for a race leader there, Brad Tilley. Didn't give him too much opportunity there whatsoever. Now they go up, and as it tightens up here, it's very difficult to go side by side here.
Good move.
Oh, that's a solid move there for De Pioli.
Into the race lead, uses that grunt of the 350 Chev to get up the inside of Brad Tilley, who now has his mirror full again of Jamie. Here we see a replay on screen now of what happened to our former race leader, Jamie Tilley, just going a little bit deep.
And that was Deja. So just that over the top of the curb there at 17.
Just lose a heap of momentum, don't you, Mark, once you run wide. There really compromises your run onto the final corner and onto this long front straight.
So that 4-6 at the moment. So De Pioli again, as we saw him take the last race victory. And now Brad Tilley there, with son Jamie behind him. They've already done this a bit through the race, trying to hold out his son there at the moment.
Deja vu all over again.
It certainly is. And under brakes at 17 again. I see Jamie gets it a little bit more correct this time. He does. Does it in a nice straight line. Gives it a good opportunity actually down to the next corner. And what's he done there at the moment? Actually, Brad's gone a little bit wide, and in fact Jamie did the same thing. He actually followed him through. Did exactly the same thing. So now they'll put the foot down and go to the fastest part of the circuit and the heaviest braking marker of the circuit of this section.
Jamie Tilley up the inside of Brad Tilley.
He did it quite easily there under brakes. So it gets him up into 2nd position there, Jamie. And Father Brad just drops back into 3rd position. De Pioli now just gets a nice little break too, while the 2 Tilley boys are there were trying to sort each other out. And that's Adam Smith.
So the local in the very quick Falcon, usually a front runner here in South Australia. Unfortunately blotted his copybook there. Coming on to the front straight, Adam always leaves nothing on the table, and unfortunately he's come a cropper, but rejoins, and he's lost many positions now, Mark.
Not too sure he did that on his own or what the situation there was, but now he's got to try and recover. He's now behind the Davison entry there in the Value Pacer. So I can't see any evident marks on that car, so I suggest that he's probably looped it himself.
Yeah, all the way down now in 17th place, Adam Smith in the white XW Falcon, number 69.
Leo Tobin also in the pits, I've just noticed. So what's happened here, this will tell us. And
there's Adam.
There he is right at the front of that pack there. Brian Wilkinson just avoids any contact there. So Brett Hodgkin there in the number 4 Falcon. Currently in 22nd position. He's still got Rob Swift behind him. In fact, that's a position change. It was around the other way in the previous lap.
Rob getting very close now, hanging on to the Falcon. Up ahead is Evan Goebel in the number 7 XU1. Beautifully presented car as usual from Evan Goebel, the number 7 machine, as Hodgkin continues to fight off Rob Smith in the Tirana.
Evan actually started off his historic racing career on an EH Holden. And
now Jamie Tilley.
Oh, here we go.
So,
all right.
Getting past De Pioli and this battle with only a lap to go. Jamie Tilley once again out in front.
So what can they do? They're side by side down to turn one again. This is the final lap. So Jamie Tilley on the inside. DePaul around the outside, just backs out there a little bit.
Two pony cars almost standing on their nose with that very late braking as the Camaro tries to put a move on that Ford Mustang. De Pioli runs wide. That may just thwart his chances of taking the win here.
Let's have a look at this replay. And De Pioli there was a bit wide there, so that's the reason. That was the overtake there and the opportunity down there at turn 18. So De Pioli a little bit wider of the curb there once again at turn 7. He's not the first one to do that.
And won't be the last. Starting to regain a little bit of track position, but still may not be close enough to Jamie Tilley to snatch the victory away.
Nathan Gordon's just pitted too, unfortunately, for the Monaro there.
If that throttle spring has come off again, I'm going to get very angry, Mark.
Yeah. So he hasn't had much of a weekend, has he?
Nope.
He's been trying, but just been plagued with that issue again. Okay, so it is Jamie Tilley. This is the final lap, just a few more quarters to contend with. And that's 13 at the moment, so just 5 more corners. And it's got to pinch a nice little margin too there from De Pioli after his slight indiscretion on the previous lap.
Fastest lap in this race too on that tour there, Mark, on the 5th lap, a 209.3. So Jamie Tilley saving a little bit perhaps with the tyres and brakes, which he acknowledged he needed to do to make the car fast at the business end of the race, and he's done that exactly here, heading towards a race win over the Camaro of Aldo De Pioli.
And he'll come around to collect another checkered flag there, and gets around to De Pioli there in second position.
Great drive from Jamie Tilley. What a drive also from Aldo in second place. Left nothing on the table at all, nor did Brad Tilley in the Mustang. This battle between Hodgkin and Smith, Mark, has been going all race. It's still Falcon versus Tirana. Smith gets through on this last lap on Hodgkin, and he's not far behind the number 7 XU1 of fellow South Australian Evan Goebel.
Yeah, Goebel there under the threat now. The battle of the two XU1s. We don't have a lot of XU1s here this weekend, so it's good to see them locked together at the moment. So going across the line, Tilley's gone through, De Pioli, Brad Tilley, Ian Mewett in 4th position. Ben Wilkins, Jason Humble finished up in 6th again, and Michael Hibbert inside the top 7 there in the Charger. They've all gone through. And we're looking at the 64 car there of Trengrove.
Chris Stern just beats home the number 43 Mustang of Pete Muleman. Andrew Beard inside the top 10 again in his Chev Camaro.
Here's the two South Australian Tirana drivers.
They're attacking the Mustang of Bill Trengrove. The final few corners of this third race for the Construct Tyre over 2 litre historic touring car. So Bill Trengrove in the NB spec Mustang, trying to keep out those two XU1s of Goebel and Smith with 2 corners to go.
And Smith on the inside there to get his fellow South Australian driver, and I think he's done it.
Rob Smith, what a move. Can Goebel fight back as they head towards a checkered flag? Well, Rob Smith's turned it on this last couple of laps, and he'll beat home Evan Goebel to be the first of the XU1s home.
And they're back in 19th and 20th position. And Brett Hodgkin there in 21st, just behind them there in the Falcon. And that's all she wrote. We lost Nathan Gordon a couple of laps ago, and Leo Tobin finished up with only 3 laps completed.
Don't forget, folks, we'll have one more race for the Construct Tyre over 2 litre historic touring cars. That will close out the racing action this year at around 4:20 p.m. this afternoon.
So the official results there. So it is Jamie Tilley, Aldo De Pioli, Brad Tilley, Ian Mewett, Ben Wilkinson, Jason Humble, Michael Hibbert, Andrew Beard, Glenn Miles, running out the top 10 there, Chris Stern, back there in the Mustang, Pete Muleman, then Ray Hepburn, Graham Wakefield, Gary Finamore, Keith Davison, Adam Smith, who had a spin in that race, then Rob James, Bill Trengrove, we just saw with Roll Smith and Evan Goebel at the rear of the field. So he lost a couple of positions there. And as I mentioned there, Brett Hodgkin and Nathan Gordon failed to finish that race, as well as Leo Tobin. And we didn't see any Andrew Gervin at all in that race in the green XU1 Tirana. So I'm not too sure what the issue was there. So cars now entering the track, which now be the final race for historic touring cars over 2 litre and the final race on the overall program here for the weekend. And Darren Knight joins me back into commentary once again. My name is Mark Nanko. We'll be doing the final call here for the weekend, and this is how they're going to line them up. So, of course, Jamie Tilley on pole position with yet another race victory in the Mustang. It was a really tight affair up the front. Lots of chops and changes. Just got in front of Aldo De Poli. Then we go back to Brad Tilley. Ian Mewett got himself up into 4th position in another Mustang. Then we go back to Ben Wilkinson, Jason Humble in the Mazda. Michael Hibbert, the first of the Chargers. Then we go back to Andrew Beard in the Camaro.
Glenn Miles is next in the Charger, number 16, alongside Chris Stern in the Mustang, number 90. Pete Muhlman, the first of the pre-65 Group NB cars, the number 43 all-black Mustang, alongside the West Australian Ray Hepburn in the 69 Fastback Mustang, number 59. Graham Wakefield, the Queenslander, is next, the 68 model Mustang, number 88, alongside Gary Finnemore in another 68 Mustang, number 19. Keith Davidson in the Pacer. I'm sure there's a few Mopar fans watching.
Go back to the next part of the group. We've got Rob James in the Capri, Bill Trengrove, Rob Smith and Evan Goble, the 2 XU1 Tiranas. Then Beck Hodgkin in the Falcon, and Nathan Gordon, who failed to finish the last race.
He won't start, in fact,
okay.
Neither will Leo Tobin, unfortunately. Nathan Gordon just completely ran out of brakes in that race, did not want to risk it. Pretty hefty machine, the HQ Monaro, so unfortunately Gordo will be a non-starter.
It's a bit of an unfortunate end to your weekend.
Very hard on brakes, this track.
Big cars too.
Yeah, big heavy cars. 18 corners, undulation, high speed, flowing corners as well, some big stops, so they are working very hard.
So this is the last race for the weekend here. One way to finish it off with our Group N over 2 litre group here this weekend as they bring them all back around. It's been pretty good, clean racing so far. The last race was extremely interesting. Lots of chops and changes up the top of the field there between Jamie Tilley, Aldo De Poli and Brad Tilley. They were the dominant 3 there from the previous race, and that's exactly the way they're going to line them up here at the start of the grid here for the final race here for the weekend. There's been a few that have slowly progressed through the field. Some did get off to some few slower starts at the start of the meeting. Adam Smith has got a bit of work after his spin there. Right on cue, he comes around the corner from his previous race.
Yeah, the number 69, the all-white XW Falcon, powered by the 351. As Mark mentioned, had a spin on the front straight here, so that will be exciting to watch the big white Falcon come through the field. Always interesting. Adam Smith, one of the fastest men in the state in historic touring cars, so he'll be looking to finish the meeting on a high note, but he's got a lot of work to do all the way down there towards the rear of the field.
Got James just behind him there in the only Capri in the field. The Queenslander there, so he's done a pretty good job as well. Slowly progressing. Ian Mewett also has been slowly progressing through the field and gets himself up into 4th position, so it gives him a bit more of a chance here.
So Jamie Tilley, can he take out the points for the weekend with victory in this final race for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars, that all-black Mustang, and number 9, Aldo De Poli, and the number 96 69 model Chevy Camaro on the right of your screen. Ian Mewett right behind him, the Queenslander, in another 69 Fastback Mustang. Green flag getting ready for the final hit out for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic tours. Here we go, folks. The grand finale, Tilley versus De Poli.
And Jason Humble took a different line this time. He went the opposite direction. Now he's gone back to the middle of the track. You see the Mazda just behind him, but there'll be 3 abreast that come over the crest here. So Jamie Tilley looks like he's got the advantage. Got the better track position. In fact, around the outside, De Poli, nice move. So he took the wide apex down there on the brakes and goes to the front. And there's everybody else just trying to sort each other out. Hibbert up, gets a clean break. So it's just 2 Chargers back together again.
Glenn Miles gets through on Muhlman there off the start. So the Chargers running line astern on screen here. Hibbert in 71, Miles in 16, the mustard-coloured Mopar.
So certainly De Poli got the jump there, no problems at all. Goes back to the front as his car slowing. There's that Graham Wakefield.
Wakefield, unfortunately, looks
Yeah.
like he's got an issue in the number 88 Mustang. He's had all sorts of issues, unfortunately, this weekend. Has Graham, it looks like his race may be going no further, unfortunately.
So the 90 car there, that's Chris Stern in the early model Mustang there, and he's got Michael Hibbert just behind him, but they're about mid-pack at the moment, just sitting outside the top 10.
How long will the brakes last? That number 90 Mustang. Chris Stern was hampered by the lack of retardation for the Ford Mustang in race 3. The big car's running out of brakes, and he's going to be working pretty hard there with the two Chargers about to gang up on him in this final race.
And it's certainly doing that at the moment. So it is Charger, isn't it? Trying to get up behind Chris Stern. They're a bit worried about his brake condition. See how they get along. Those Chargers aren't a light vehicle either. They take a bit of pulling up. A lot of brake work certainly done there, and they get themselves tucked up on the inside there of Stern. Just unsettles the back of the Stern car there.
Just up ahead of them is Jason Humble in the Mazda, as Tilly now right behind the Camaro of De Paoli. So this is a little bit of a replay of the first race there. The first three really ran away from the rest of the field, exchanging positions. It was a fantastic race to watch. Aldo now taking that conservative inside line there, so not giving Jamie Tilley a run at all, as Andrew Beard in the background looks to put a move on Humble.
Saw a time penalty come up on the screen there. Not sure who that was for. We'll rectify that in a moment. Someone's jumped the start, didn't quite catch the number. So De Paoli now with a hard charging Jamie Tilley just behind him, and then Father Brad. So they're the top three again, just what we saw in the previous race. And it looks like it's panning out pretty much the same as we saw in the early part of the previous race as well. So De Paoli leading the first part of this race as they head down the sweeper there. Now this is the passing opportunity under brakes. And Tilley on the inside, that's Jamie, and gets the pass done nicely. That's the big passing opportunity. Can he hold it all together for the climb up to turn 7? Yes, all good, and so good exit speed there on that corner. So a new race leader there for, so it's now Jamie Tilley from De Paoli, and then back to Brad Tilley.
Jamie has been very busy behind the wheel of a race car, has done quite a few meetings in the last few months. Ran the Tilley family Green XY TCM Falcon at Bathurst some weeks ago, and also had a meeting in the car here, so he's in good touch, and that is really paying off for him at the front at the moment.
Starting to get a nice little break too, so certainly plenty of pace once he has certainly got to the front, and you can just see that Graham Wakefield has made it back to the pits, and unfortunately he'll take no further part.
Ben Wilkinson also in, so that's unfortunate for that very quick New South Welshman in that Mustang.
So a couple of early retirements there in this early part of the race, but this is Tilley, De Paoli and Brad Tilley. So De Paoli in the Tilley sandwich at the moment. So he's got one in front and one behind him. So under brakes now they head down towards turn 17.
Meanwhile, Keith Davidson in the Pacer putting the pressure on Gary Finnemore. So Mopar versus Mustang at the moment. Keith Davidson in that 245 powered Hemi Pacer, a car that was the forerunner, of course, to the Chargers in the early days of series production racing around the country.
Finnemore just holding off all the challenges. See Adam Smith just in front of him, so he's picked up a few positions in the early part of the race as well. You can see those cars there. Well, James a little bit wide there. So he just drops off the back there of Finnemore as they go down to complete yet another lap.
Adam Smith not too far away from the top 10 in his all-white XW Falcon. Here he is trying to range up on the back of Hepburn and Muleman. Ray Hepburn taking a very optimistic line there to try and put the move on Pete Muleman.
I wonder if he's got an issue. He seemed to slow off quite dramatically there, whether he's missed a gear or what's happened there.
Yeah, so running very wide now, and that's allowed Smith to close right up, as does Davison on Finnemore.
The long green pacer there on the hard charge. Trying to get up behind Finnemore, not quite close enough at the moment. That's a big wide car, isn't it? That is certainly when you're trying to get around that big green car. And he's got his nose tucked underneath there for the passing opportunity there at turn 6. And Finnemore has nothing to do with that at all, and carries on regardless. Shuts the door well and truly in his face there for that position change.
Gary Finnemore driving the car that was originally constructed by Smith's Speedworks in Wagga, beautifully engineered race car. Craig is here this weekend, ruling the spanners on Aldo's Camaro, but Daryl Hansen has hung up the helmet. Gary Finnemore purchased the car a couple of years ago and really is having a great time there. He's having a pretty hard time at the moment trying to fend off that pacer of Davidson.
Certainly is. I thought I recognised that car, the ex-Daryl Hansen car, the ex-Western Australian. As you mentioned, he's never gone into retirement. He's a pretty good competitor back in the day too. That's the two that are just hanging on to there in 13th and 14th position. That's the cars we're looking at the moment, cars 19 and 27.
Davidson won't be
on the outside there.
Won't be wanting for power because he built the engine in this number 27 Pacer, a renowned engine builder in Victoria. Also built the engine in the Hibbett Charger as well, and Hibbett right up there in 7th place for the Mopar fans.
Much closer this time under brakes too for trying to get that pass done. He's still not quite close enough, so he's certainly holding off all the challenges at the moment, Finnemore.
Our second place driver, De Pioli, is the fastest man on the circuit at 209.4468 versus the fastest time of our race leader, Jamie Tilley, at 209.4832, both set on that third lap.
So that margin will also be starting to decrease as well. Pete Merleman with a big brake lock up there. And he's still got Ray Hepburn out there. Thought he had issues earlier. That problem's obviously been rectified, whatever that was.
Rob Smith in the Tirana, trying to hold off the V6 powered Capri of Rob James from Queensland.
He's looking for a pass too, Rob, in the 111 car there, and does it nicely, or has he? So Rob Smith fights back there in the 125 shell-livered XU1 Tirana.
Yeah, no corner speed there for James with that shallow line in, but he's right again on the tail and gets through on Smith. So what do we know, Mark? He just really set that up nicely and put the move on the local Rob Smith. He's fighting back now, so Aussie 6 versus Pommy 6. Look at this, folks.
He's got himself in better track position there on the inside of the entry to 6, so he should be able to get or retain that. We'll get up in that position and retain position. Where is he at the moment? 16th on the track.
Doesn't matter where you are in this field, you're always battling for positions. And Smith certainly has his hands full as we watch the battle between Andrew Beard in the Camaro, Jason Humble in the Mazda RS2. That's a battle for 5th place. Really has a cult following, this RX2 of Jason Humble. He's right up there with the 350 Chev powered Camaro of Andrew Beard, who started off the back foot after a DNF this morning and has been working his way towards the head of the field all day, but he's hanging on to that 5th place, barely over the RX2 of Jason Humble. Only a couple of laps to go, so Humble will have to get the finger out and try and put a move on Beard.
And that's what they're about to do now. Let's have a look at Humble. Obviously, straight line speed is going to favour Beard there, but Humble on the inside, much better under brakes. Obviously, a much lighter race car there, but still doesn't manage to get that pass done. This section of the track will suit him better. So that's mentioned there in position 5.
Look at the way the Mazda turns in. Just slips under Beard. He's fighting back though. A little bit wide, almost onto the grass for Andrew Beard. So it looks like this pass will stick. So Jason Humble now up into 5th place. Beard back to 6th.
Nice pass there too. That's a very fast part of the circuit down through there. So that's a nice brave move. And gets himself a nice tight apex there, right down the bottom of the track down there at turn 6. So he'll retain and get himself up into now what becomes 5th position.
So Jamie Tilley still leading from De Paoli, and Brad Tilley having a bit of a lonely run there in 3rd place. The little 289 Windsor powered Mustang number 28. But what a battle we have here, folks, for 5th place. Ian Mewett is 4th, so he's had a solid run this weekend, the Queenslander, as Beard drops a rear wheel off onto the grass verge. Those brakes and tyres will be screaming for mercy there, Mark, with the final race of the day.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Actually, Tilley and Pioli up the front there have actually started to get a bit more of an advantage on Brad Tilley by the look of that time margin.
Humble getting sideways. He's lost a little bit of ground there with Beard catching up after Humble was sideways, which looked fantastic for us. Not too great for the driver behind the wheel as he's trying to hold out that Chev.
So they go down on the exit there at turn 16. So Jason Humble now gets himself in front in 5th position. So now let's see if he can hold off all the challenges there from Andrew Beard. Ex-Graham Jarrett Camaro there. Graham competing in the under 2 litre class here this weekend, and the ex-Jason Bing Datsun.
On the last lap for the Construct Hire over 2 litre. Historic touring cars problems for Adam Smith.
That's an engine failure. That's coming from straight underneath the engine block there.
Coming through the exhaust pipe, yeah, Mark. So that looks like it's that's
gone.
And spins on the oil. Adam Smith in the Falcon jumps on the brakes to stop the car going across the track. A good job from Adam. Well, what a sad weekend for the flying South Australian. That does not look happy. That
look at the oil pouring out the bottom of the motor there. So that's left. Look at the oil dump it's left there on the
or
inside.
Is that steam perhaps? That's white. So who knows what it is? It's not healthy, whatever it is.
And yeah, that's a real barbecue. That's not going anywhere at all. It's a bit unfortunate there for the local South Australian.
On the last lap, so Jamie Tilley is cleared off now from Aldo De Paoli in the Camaro. So Jamie Tilley will take out the points for the meeting. What a great drive from the young New South Welshman. That beautiful number 9 fastback Mustang. De Paoli not giving up though with only a few corners to go. Still got the boot in.
So it looks like another one here for Jamie Tilley. Just 2 more corners to contend with here. And he'll take out the final checker flag here for the weekend. But there's might be a problem here because probably a bit worried about fluid or oil down through this section of the track. As this is where Adam Smith was just going through when he spun. So let's hope he doesn't catch that oil down there anywhere.
The brilliant light warning system here. I saw the red and yellow light there illuminated to warn them. But Jamie Tilley will take the flag. He'll withstand all challenges and takes the final win for the Construct Hire over 2 litre historic touring cars. A great drive from West Australian Aldo De Paoli. Never gave up. 2nd place in the Chev Camaro. A big gap back to Brad Tilley in 3rd. And here's the battle going right down to the wire for 5th place. So Ian Muir will cross the line in 4th. This is the battle for 5th between Humble and Beard. Beard is really closed up on this final tour as they head towards the checkered flag. Mewett goes wide, but will cross the line, so perhaps he hit some of that oil. So Mewett 4th. Beard just misses out on 5th place. A great drive from Jason Humble in the Mazda.
So the next car we'll be looking for is Michael Hibbert. There he is in the Charger, and his fellow Charger competitor there in Glenn Miles. And looks like they're travelling very slowly. I think they're a bit concerned about the oil spill down there. So they're just going to go across the line nice and quietly and finish that off. So that's where the 2 Chargers ironically go across the line together there. And then we just go back to Chris Stern. Peter Muleman there on the all-black Mustang goes across there inside the top 10 in front of Keith Davison,
who got through on Gary Finnemore there. So the Pacer had that race-long duel with Finnemore in the Mustang. So great drive from Keith.
Then it'll be back to, well, it won't be Adam Smith. It should be this car here.
Evan Goebel.
Ev Goebel there. So where does Ray Hepburn ended up in all of that?
14th, so or he's a drop back. So great drive from Goebel.
Well, there's 13th. Hepburn there, so he's going across the line very slowly. I think that car's got a mechanical problem as well. So Rob James goes past him. Or has he? Yeah, he has. So then it will be Rob Smith. And then it'll be the Brett Hodgkin car. And obviously no Adam Smith. There's the final results there for the weekend. So Jamie Tilley takes out the round here at the Ben Classic for over 2 litre historic touring cars in front of Aldo Paoli, Brad Tilley, Ian Mewett. Jason Hummel got up for 5th position in front of Andrew Beard, Michael Hibbert and Glenn Miles, the 2 Chargers. Then we go Chris Stern, Pete Muleman just got himself inside the top 10 there.
And the first of the pre-65 cars, Keith Davison was 11th in the Pacer, Gary Finnemore 12th, Evan Goebel, the XU1 13th, Rob James, the Capri, Ray Hepburn was 15th, Rob Smith 16th, the XU1, Brett Hodgkin, the Falcon, was 17th. Adam Smith did not finish the race, unfortunately. Bad luck for that very rapid South Australian.
And obviously the DNSs, Leo Tobin, Bill Trengrove and Ben Wilkinson didn't start that event. So we lost a few there just towards the end. And that does